Hey lovelies, it's Heather. We're going to go ahead and shoot today's video and get it out of the way. Today in this video, I'm going to try to stay on a topic that's like at hand right now for me. So I'm going to talk about gang stalking. And I laugh because there is a sense of humor that is normalized about it and everything. But at the same time, I get why people feel like it's a real thing. It does happen, so on and so forth. And then even at that, I live in the U.S. and there's so many different places in the world where things could be worse, they could be happening, so on and so forth. I don't live there. I don't know that. I'm here. I know what I know. I feel what I feel. I experience what I experience. But, so no disrespect if somebody does watch this, because somebody probably will, that they believe that they are being gang stalked. They believe that they are a targeted individual, and stuff like that. For starters, one thing is, that kind of pegs my mind a little bit, just my own rationalization, is if gang stalking does exist, and it is this elaborate plan that is dictated and governed by men or by humans, why is it, or is there, and I just haven't had the link or found it because I'm not digging that deep into the knowledge of gang stalking and stuff like that, why hasn't nobody came out admitting that they are a gang stalker? Why, if you are on the targeted individual side and say there are a mass group of us that can come together, at some thing, event, or whatever, pull in somebody that we know out of our story, out of our life, that is a gang stalker, and confront them. Be like, hey, I'm going to call you to this meeting of targeted individuals. You say you're not a gang stalker. I feel like you are, because you did A, B, C, and D to me. Sit your ass down. If you ain't done nothing criminal, then you'll, it's fine. But if you have, how about you admit to it? That way I can forgive you as a person. And that way I can, kind of be like, why did you do that to me? And if they're like, oh, for fun, or because I was told to, or because I was blackmailed, then that's when you pull them in and you're like, you know what? We'll help you. We don't care if you're blackmailed. We don't care what you're blackmailed for to be, having to feel like you have to become this gang stalker type person. That's just my mind. Because there's always opposites. And interrogation, whether it's like actual interrogation, as they say, like dealing with the police and shit like that, or even counselors and shit like that, or what the fuck ever. But there's interrogation tactics that even a narcissist does on their fucking family member. Believe me, I know firsthand. Oh my god. That's like my mom. When I started having sex, she wouldn't help me get on birth control, and then she asked me what positions I was having sex in. And tried to interrogate that information out of me, and I was just like, that's none of your fucking business. I will fight you over this. I deserve some level of privacy, even though, yes, I'm your daughter. And, so anyways, and that's the thing, too, dealing with my family and everything, this is a lot to get off my chest, to a degree, because it's dealing with everything, dealing with my life, dealing with me, but then again, not. Because if gang stalking does exist, and there are targeted individuals, then I can guarantee you that if it does exist, and it is an actual thing, then I can guarantee you that I am on some level of a targeted individual. I have never been on the If it is a real thing, I've never been on the gang stalking side of any fucking thing. Um, the reason I would say targeted individual is if you're somebody that has watched a bunch of my videos, or if you're not and this is first time video for you, because I'll label it something dealing with gang stalking. I don't know what I'm going to label it. I get on here and I vlog and I talk about my life and all the shit that I'm going through. All the shit that I've been through. And in all honesty, when people get to know me, they're like, how have you lived through this? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I just keep living. I keep pushing through, because they're like, I couldn't have handled that. I couldn't have handled this. That would have stressed me out so bad. And this and that. And and I'm just like, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And I'm like, so do you see? Do you see why I gotta talk about it? Because it's driving me crazy, but then again, it's not, because I dealt with it and I'm just moving on. Just keep moving. But, any fucking ways. So, my family. Pretty sure my mom has narcissistic personality disorder, and that's another thing too that I caught a glimpse of when I typed in gang stalking today, and it pulled up some type of narcissism. I don't think it said malignant. I don't know what it said. Anyways, it pulled up narcissism and gang stalking, and that's the reason, like, gang stalking probably, manifests or is a thing or is seen as a thing and all that is because of narcissism. My mom, I'm pretty sure she would score high on the narcissism. My grandmother too. My dad, I don't know. He's more of a sociopath or a psychopath. He was very abusive when I was a kid. Beat the crap out of me. Not a lot, but then again enough, I guess you'd say. It wasn't every day. There were some days that it was like 5 days in a row or something, but it was like periodic jumps, from 1 month to the next, I guess you'd say, or 1 week to 2 weeks later, I guess you'd say. But, he was very abusive. I believe there was sexual abuse. As a matter of fact, because gang stalking gets into all about the Freemasons and stuff like that and everything, my grandfather, that was my mom's dad, he was in the Air Force. And he went to the lodge around here that all the people go to, supposedly all these old, whatever, the Elk Lodge around here. And supposedly, the Freemasons and this and that and everything. And I can put together little bits and pieces, and I actually remember eating there a few times. And there's one incident that I don't know if it's a memory or not, but I'm not even going to go into that because I don't even want to get into that shit. Because the past is the past, the future's the future, the present's the present, and I'm living in the present. But anyways, I'm just doing this like as a background story, as the reason that I'm going back to pretty much say, for as far as like, if gang stalking exists, then yes, I would be considered a targeted individual. But anyways, my whole life, like, and my family and the age that I am and the firecracker type personality that I am and stuff like that, it's like, just who I'm supposed to be, what I'm supposed to do in this life, which I don't even know what the fuck it is, but apparently it's something that I'm marked for, as we're all marked. We're all marked with our, destinies and fate and this and that. But anyways, I was just picked on a lot. I've been bullied. I've been treated like shit. Have no friends. There's one thing. Supposedly you can't have friends, you don't make friends easily, and this and that and all that. Well, there's one reason that it shows that I'm like that, because I'm basically considered a very independent, very lone wolf type person anyways. So, kind of doing that to me is kind of giving me what the hell I kind of ask for, I guess you'd say. Um, because I get really pissed off, kind of, with people being stupid, I guess is the best way to word it. Like, I just cannot handle the stupidity of some people where it's like, A's the right decision, B's the wrong decision. I did B, and then they want to sit and they want to complain about it, forever. And they keep picking the B decisions, which is the bad decisions, and they never pick the A decision. And I just get really frustrated with them really quick because I'm like, okay, you messed up on one big life thing, you made the B decision. Okay, now make the A decision from here on out. Keep trying to make that A decision, that right decision. Stop making the damn B decisions, the bad decisions, and your life will be better. And they keep making B decisions, and I'm just like, I can only have so much compassion for you. And that's even like my family. Like, my grandmother and my mom and my dad. No, just my grandmother and my mom, my sister. My grandmother, I've had a few conversations with her in my lifetime where it's like, I get in and I start, this why do you hate me, type stuff with her. Why do you treat me like this? Why do you say this? And as a matter of fact, I just had a conversation with her a few minutes ago. After looking up gang stalking, I just kind of set my phone down after reading it and I was like, oh my God, the world's so fucked, And I was just like, ooh, it makes me mad, and everything. And I was like, and even if it's not true, for people to think that and to feel that way, to feel that is so fucking wrong. People should not feel that bad. They should not feel that hurt, that accused, that targeted. It doesn't fucking matter. You shouldn't fit, like, nobody should have to feel that way. And I got really mad. So I put my phone down. I was like, damn it. She's like, what? And I was like, I swear to God, I'm going to end up killing my damn self. Now, I've said shit like that to her probably 5-6 times in my whole life. And her reaction was, what happened? Why are you saying that? And I said, I'm just frustrated. I said, I don't understand, and I turned it on me. I focused on me. I didn't focus on the gang stalking thing. I turned it on me and I said, because I said, I have no goddamn life. I have no fucking privacy. I said, for crying out loud, when I was married with my husband, we put up this Christmas tree one year. And me and my daughter decided that we was going to make an angel to put on top of the tree. Well, we found these 2 cups, and I took and put them together. I glued them together, and I stuck them on top of the tree, and I was like, yeah, that'll be the base for our angel. Well, I left them up there for 3 damn days before I took them down, and then I was like, we need to go to the store, to buy supplies to create the angel. And my kid's like, okay. Well, every time I called my parents, because they were my ride, and I'll get into that in a minute, why they were my ride. But any fucking ways, I was like, can you take us to the store? We need to pick up some art supplies. No. They can't. And then even when I did go, I went to Walmart. They finally took me to Walmart a week later to go grocery shopping. And when I got done getting my groceries, I was going to go over to the art section. And they were like, why are you going to the art section? And I was like, because I'm going to buy some art stuff. And they're like, why? And here's the interrogation, gotta know everything, and the narcissism. And I'm like, because me and my kid are going to make a damn angel to put on top of our fucking Christmas tree. And my dad was with me, if I remember correctly. But anyways, or my mom was like, oh no, this and that, and talked me out of it. And concluding they were my ride and everything, I was like, fine, whatever, I'll buy my groceries and go. But anyways, so we're sitting there 3 days later, and I'm kind of complaining to my daughter. I'm like, damn it, I just wanted to buy some art supplies. I said, we would be doing that right now instead of sitting here bored, because we were bored that night, and we done played all the board games all day long. And we done watched the movies into the ground because we didn't have cable and stuff. And I was like, we could be making our angel right now. But I said, they kept us from it. So the very next morning we wake up, they're knocking on the door. My dad has an angel, and he's like, here's this angel that I bought for you. That way you can have an angel to sit on top of your Christmas tree. And I was like, I was going to make an angel. And I said, as a matter of fact, that's the reason I need to go to the store still if you'll take me to a Dollar General or anywhere. And he's like, no, I'm going to give you this. And he's like, yeah, I seen where you had some cups sitting on top of the tree and I felt sorry for you. I'm like, how the fuck did you see that we had cups, sitting on top of the damn tree? And he's like, oh, a few days ago I came by and I seen you had your Christmas tree up and I peered in the window and I seen you had some cups. And so I felt sorry for you. So I wanted to go out and buy you an angel. And that's the reason, like, your mom wouldn't let you buy the art supplies is because she done knew that I had the angel here. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, they're psychotic. Like, they're insane. Like, this is my family. Well, not only did they do that, we didn't have our own vehicle, and my husband was the over-road truck driver. So he'd be gone for almost a month at a time. He'd come home. When he'd come home, we'd borrow their truck. That way we'd have a vehicle to ride around town. And I would call them and ask them for it the first few months that we were married. After the first few months we were married, all of a sudden my husband would pull up a few hours later or within the next day. They'd show up to drop the fucking truck off. And I'm like, I didn't even call you. And they're like, oh yeah, we were driving by and we seen that he was pulled up out here. And so we knew that you'd need the truck, so we decided to go ahead and just bring it on by. And they would bring it by at the most worst fucking times. So you want to talk about feeling gang stalked or what the fuck ever. Like, literally, like, we'd be in the middle of sex and they'd come by to drop off the truck. Every fucking time. And I'm just like, oh my fucking God. I'm gonna kill somebody. So anyways, I mentioned the Christmas tree thing to my grandmother, and she's like, well, how, trying to make me feel stupid. And she's like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, because they, I don't want to cuss at her. I'm like, because they told me. But everything inside of me, because there's so much anger still from the shit happening to me, wants to be like, because they fucking told me. They fucking told me that they seen the goddamn cup sitting on our fucking Christmas tree. I fucking hate them. I wish they'd die. Like, that's none of their goddamn business that I was going to make an angel with my child until I wanted it to be their goddamn business. I didn't want it to be their goddamn business because they came and spied in my window. Like, who the fuck does that? So, if gang stalking exists, then my parents are gang stalkers. And if it's like something dealing with an implant in the brain or some shit like that, and they see everything that you do, then that's where the fuck I'm at, and my parents have got the fucking key, and they're fucking watching everything that I do all the fucking time. If that were a thing. But I kinda don't think it is. I kind of think it's just life. It's just coincidences. Almost like a hippie would look at it, like somebody that smoked a lot of pot. And then even like at that instance or whatever, I am so rooted in my belief system, I guess you'd say, of God, that even if they are doing it, even if gang stalking does exist, that is not going to be something born of God. That is not going to be something deemed as good. Because if you are trying to control another person by driving them crazy, basically, then you're not a good person for doing that. And so, line up for hell, honey, because that's what you're doing. Like, that's all I can say to you. Like, if you're that fucking stupid. And then if you're like, oh, well, it's because I was blackmailed and this and that. Well, this is the year, this is the time that if that shit is going on, those people that want to get out of it, that don't want to be in that line to hell, they need to admit to it and stop doing it. Like, legit. They need to admit to it, stop doing it. It's that simple. Go cold turkey. Like, stop it. If the shit exists. Because, baby doll, you heading down a bad path if you doing that shit. And so, I feel sorry for you. I might be mad at you if I think that you are one, and stuff like that, but, like, I feel sorry I pity you. Like, you're fucking retarded. Like, you think being that greedy, that greed driven, and that even for as far as being blackmailed, I don't even see how that shit works on people. I really don't. Else you did it or you didn't do it. If you did it, then go ahead and fucking admit to it. Holy shit. I mean, do you realize how many sins people commit on a daily fucking basis? Do you realize that you're not the only one that's probably done the fucking shit that you may be ashamed of? There's a big world out there, sweetheart. I guarantee you, there's somebody that has done something or whatever, whether it's an affair, you cheated on your husband, your wife, or you done something god awful, or even if you fucking killed, like, there's somebody out there that's done the same damn shit as you. They might not be the same person as you. You might have had reasons that let's say you killed somebody. You might have reasons that you killed somebody. They might have been attacking you and you fucking killed their ass. And then there's somebody over here that they fucking killed them just because they felt like it. Just because they smiled at them the wrong way or some type of crazy ass shit. But either fucking way, a sin is a sin no matter how big, no matter how small. And I don't even understand blackmail. Like, blackmail is the stupidest ass, like, kind of shit that I've ever even fucking heard of. Like, I don't know, it just don't penetrate my logic, I guess. It just don't even come within the realm of it. Like, I can't rationalize it. I'm just like, stupid. It's stupid. That's stupid. Can we all say it together? It's stupid. Like, you're a human being. But anyways, even if that shit does exist and everything like that, if you can't fight it, and that's even kind of what I'm dealing with right now, I can't fight my family. I can't fight the fucking government. I can't fight all the things that I need to fight just alone by myself. I know this. And so, if it never comes to a point that I can fight the things that I feel that I need to fight, what the fuck can I do about it? Not a goddamn thing. Not a goddamn thing. If you can't do it, then you can't do it. If you can do it, then you can do it. And right now, I can't do a damn thing. Right now, I'm waiting to see about getting taxes. Filing my taxes. I gotta wait on that shit to come in the mail. If it don't come in the mail, it don't come in the mail. And then I gotta call again and go through the whole waiting shit again and all this. But, because I wasn't able to file my taxes on time, and I'm waiting on that money to see if I get enough money to get a fucking car. Back to the whole dealing with my parents thing and them being my ride. I'm 30 years old, and I just got my license in November. Nobody would help me get my license. I was treated like shit because I wanted my license. From my mom, from my dad, from my sister, from everybody in my family. Then, whenever I would try to get people to help me to get my license, like from high school, whenever I'd pull in like 2 or 3 people, there's been like 2 or 3 people that have offered to help me get my license since I left high school. And every time I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Thank you so much. I fucking appreciate that. Yes, help me. My family would, they're just wanting you to wreck their car. That way you have to buy them a new vehicle. And then I'm like, okay, well, if that shit were to happen, I don't even have a fucking job, so how they gonna get me to pay for this? How they gonna get me to pay for that? And then my family would basically say to me, oh, well, they're gonna come after me, though, because you're living with me, and so they'll need money and they're going to have to come after somebody. And if they can't come after you and you're living in our house, then they're going to come after me. And then if they come after me, then I'm going to kick your ass out. So that always led to me being like, well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I won't let you help me to drive. But anyways, so 4 years ago, it's fixing to be 4 years, you might as well say 3.5 years ago, I moved out. I'm back with my grandmother now, but I moved out into my own apartment. And everything was great when we first got there and stuff, always happy and all that. Me and my kid. But then all kinds of hell started happening. Now this is where, am I being gang stalked could come in. But it could even come in beforehand because, like I said, my grandfather was in the Air Force. Then the Elk Lodge, and then that dealing with the Freemasons, and then even that, what is it? There's like a fair or carnival that they have set up, and even when I went to it, I felt like I'd been there before. I couldn't remember how, and I went to it with the school. The school took us there twice. The school even took my daughter there, her 5th grade year, and I went with her. And there's this one guy that always hollers at me. And I didn't even think of it. So it does make me wonder, in all honesty, because I felt like I'd been at this carnival fair before or whatever that's set up around here that's dealing with the Freemasons and all that and everything, and the Shriners even and stuff like that and all this kinds of shit. And, or it's the Shriners actually is what it is. But anyways, I felt like I'd been there before whenever I went my 5th grade year as a trip with the school. And I was like, wait, this seems familiar. Wait, have I been here with my family before? Wait, I think I have. Wait, I think I've been here with my dad and my mom before when I was younger and littler and smaller. And I'm just like, oh my God, and I'm like, kind of feel weird. And I remember I had my 2 friends stick with me. And there was this one guy that kept hollering at me. Well, then we went back a few years later on in school, probably like 8th grade, I believe. And this guy kept hollering at me. And I'm talking like an older gentleman, like he's probably in his 50s or 60s or something. And I remembered him from the years before, and I was like, oh my God, this is some stalker shit. And I remember saying that, and I said it out loud, and I started calling them stalkers. Because they started like whistling at us and all kinds of shit and everything. And, so anyways, I was just like, what the fuck? Well, when I went with my daughter, her 5th grade year, and I went to the same damn place, the same damn Shriners place. And I hate to say that because Shriners, they do good things supposedly. But my dad, he's in with the Shriners. He's not in with them for as far as I know. Like, he's not a member and all that. But, we've done the motorcycle rides where you get the toys and the gifts and the presents and this for the kids and stuff like that. And I've even went with him. And we went to the Hellions, motorcycle club. But anyways, man, whew, this is a lot of shit. Like, it's just a lot of shit to kind of piece together if you were to try to. And I may not be making a good story and all that, but I really don't give a shit. Because I'm not about that anyways. I'm just like, this is like me talking it out to myself to a degree. But, so anyways, whenever I went 5th grade year with my kid, whenever I went on her trip with her to the same place, that guy was there again. And I swear to God, like, I was like, is this the same fucking guy? This cannot be the same fucking guy from when I was in 8th grade. This cannot be him. And we walked past him like 4 times, and he's like, oh yeah, there's some stalker shit there. Like, he started saying that, and that's what made it like ding, and I was like, oh my fucking God. And I remember grabbing my daughter and being like, we're not going to ride that ride, and we're not going over there because I don't know nothing. He makes me feel weird. And she's like, yeah, I get a weird vibe from him too, Mom. And so we stayed away from him. But Anyways, I don't know. I don't know if there is some weird gang stalker government type shit going on or not. I don't care, honestly. Like, sorry, I might hurt your ego a little because you're stupid. If you are a gang stalker type person, but I don't care about you. Like, you wanna spend your life annoying me? Damn. You must have a really sad life. Like, legit. Like, you must have a really pitiful, sad ass life where you feel lost and trapped, and you just feel that that's the only way that you can feel anything is to feel some sense of power or control or something. Because I logically can't, I'm just like, nah. Like, if somebody was like, Heather, do you want to be God? I'd be like, fuck no. And apparently you're the person that's like, yeah, and I'm just like, you're retarded. You realize you're a human being, right? Like, you can't, like, if you had all that power, you would fucking, like, implode or explode or something. Like, you would spontaneously combust. Like, you couldn't handle it. But okay, you think you can, like, go for it. Good luck, like, I don't know what to say to that. But, so anyways, back to moving into my own apartment with my daughter and everything. And even with my husband, there was some weird shit that went on there. There was stuff that went missing. As a matter of fact, my grandmother gave me this necklace that it was shaped like a 4-leaf clover, and it was bought probably in the 1960s. And it was, well, no, it was bought before then, probably about the 1950s. And she gave it to me as my graduation present. And it was the first piece of jewelry that my grandfather ever bought for her. I did not ever want to lose that. I never thought I would. We were in our own place. This was when me and my husband was together, though. We lived in our own apartment for 2 years together before we split. And anyways, the necklace went missing. Like, I could cry right now thinking about that. But that's what happens. Like, even if there is, like, some type of gang stalking type shit going on, you get so used to bad shit happening to you, you're just like, eh. And it gets to the point where, like, it's like, you want to cut my hand off? You want to, you want to, you know, infect me with some type of, like, you're just like, I mean, you care, but you kind of get to a point where you're just like, is that all you got? Like, and I hate to say that, but it's like, you're building monsters when you target an individual. And you know that you are, because supposedly one of the things about the targeted individual is that they're made to seem crazy and think themselves crazy and commit suicide. Or they're made to, become this monster and go insane and kill other people. And even though I have felt these feelings, I feel feelings of suicidal I have suicidal thoughts that pop into my head. And I even logically try to break down, why the fuck anybody's alive, why the fuck human existence is still a thing. Because it don't make any fucking sense to a degree. And all this and everything. But at the end of the day, I'm going to do what God wants me to do. And God hasn't made me kill myself, and God hasn't made me kill anybody. Other than like an ant or a fucking fly. I can't even kill spiders half the time. Like, well, I take it back. Half the time I do. Half the time I take them and catch them and put them out in the yard. And so, if I respect life that much, I think even if I get mad and I tell somebody that I'm going to fucking kill them, or even like my husband, oh my God, this was so funny. He was trying to be a prick and come back into my life verbally by saying he was going to, but not actually manifesting, showing up, doing, showing his face around me. But I told him flat out that I didn't want to see him come hell or high water any fucking ways. Like, he had his opportunity, he missed it, we're done. And he's like, what the fuck will you do if I do show up, and you don't want me there? And I was like, I'll shoot you in the goddamn foot. But I didn't say it directly to him. I said it to my grandmother, who had been talking to him, who had purposefully left the phone on for him to hear that, so that way he could purposefully bitch me out for it. And the thing that shocked him the most and made me seem the most crazy in his mind was whenever I got back on the phone, and I was just like, he's like, I can't believe you said that about me. I heard what you said. And I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm trying to lie. Suck it lying. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah, you did. You said you was going to shoot me. And I said, okay. I said I was going to shoot you. I said, but I didn't say I was going to shoot you dead. I said I was going to shoot you in the fucking foot. And he's like, I can't believe you said you was going to shoot me in the fucking foot. And I said, you're damn straight. I said, if anybody shows up on my fucking property, or any property that I am inhabiting, living in, even if it's not considered my property, and I tell them to leave and they're there to see me, or they're there to see my daughter, and my daughter is, she's younger than me, so she's below me, if you will, or even if it was my niece or any child, anybody younger than me, that's not an adult, and they're like, I'm here to see them, and I'm like, no, you're not, because you're not allowed to, and you try to say, yes, you are, yeah, I will fucking shoot you. Like, I will fight your ass. So anyways, I thought that was funny whenever he got mad at me for that. But anyways, so back to me and my daughter moved out, living in our own place. And if gang stalking exists and shit like that, which if it does, like, I could cry because I feel so sorry for the idiots that are gang stalkers. I'm a very compassionate person. And I feel sorry for the hell that you're going to end up in. And that's not a threat. That's just a knowledge that I have. Like, you're not going to end up in a well spot or a good afterlife. And I'm not even saying afterlife in a sense of like I know. It's just like an overall being of your existence. There we go. It's not your human life, and it's not even your afterlife. It's an overall being of your pure and total existence. It's not going to be good. So anyways, back to me and my kid moving into our apartment. Everything was good. Everything seemed fine. All of a sudden, shit started missing. Had this crazy ass neighbor who could have been related to somebody in my family. That's another thing too, is all these people could be related to me. So if I am getting gang stalked, then I'm getting gang stalked not just from individuals. I'm getting gang stalked like family wise. Like, it's like my family. Because this one neighbor that had issues with me, and then it's not even my family for as far as like my immediate family, it would have to even extend into my child's father, because my child's father's a meth addict. One of our neighbors was a meth addict, and whenever I met him, I was like, or he'd been in meth before, and I met his daughter, and I showed his daughter a picture of my kid's father. She's like, he looks familiar. And then I started thinking about their last name, and I was like, and y'all's last name sounds familiar. And it's always been shit like that and dealing with him. So I guess he's even gang stalking me, which would explain a lot of shit, in all honesty, if I firmly believed in that. Even back to the cop that came out when we went to visitation, when he was in prison, when my daughter was, just a baby, and the cop came out and was like, oh, you got a good man there, he really loves you, blah, 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 That would be like a setup, for me to believe that he's a good guy, and then he wasn't a good guy, But anyways, so supposedly they could be related that way. Then this other neighbor could be related through my grandmother that I'm living with right now, because her not her sister. Who was it she said last night? Because I get inquisitive too, I don't interrogate, I don't push, I just ask questions and see what they give me, and it's like a little spider web, But I asked her about this last name. There's this last name Evans, and I was like, "Do you know any?" And she's like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, so and so married one." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And I'm like, well, what did they look like? Because usually families kind of similarly look alike. And I'm like, these people would be tall and skinny if we're related to them, possibly, through that Evans and everything. She's like, yeah, they're tall and skinny. And I was just like, fuck. And I was like, don't tell me we're fucking related to them. And then that could even go back for as far as the Callahans and the Grays. And the Callahans, for as far as I know, there's something dealing with the Freemasons or the Shriners, at least there, like something dealing with their family being into something or something with it, or at least that's what I think. I remember my papa and him talking like once or twice, and not my papa that I was close to, but my other one that was in the Air Force. I mean, I was close to him too, but just not in the same level of things. But I don't know. I don't know if I believe in all that shit or not. But anyway, so these Evans people moved in beside me. They started causing hell. All kinds of shit started happening. Um, Talks about gang stalking, the crazy sounds, making loud racket, this and that, to make you think you're crazy and shit like that. Every time I'd let my dogs out on the porch, I had a fenced in porch. Every fucking time I'd let my dogs out on the damn porch, this fucking crazy ass person would come out and go to their car and then stand there and stare at my dogs. It didn't matter what time of day, it didn't matter what time of night. Anytime I did it, they did that. And I'm like, you just want my dogs to bark at you. Why the fuck are you trying to make me miserable and make me have to keep my dogs in 24/7 when they like being out on the porch and just sitting there and enjoying the view? So anyway, so that kind of shit was going on. Loud noises, beating on the walls, all this other kinds of shit. Then people constantly walking in front of my apartment to a degree could be part of it, which would make my dogs bark. Um, and then stuff started going missing. And then it would reappear. So that's the reason I was like, it has to be something dealing with the landlord, because it'd go missing. I swear to God, I know it would, and it'd reappear. And I'm just like, okay. And then I do believe in ghosts though. So I mean, there's part of me that's like, okay, because there was a pair of scissors that went missing when we were in the apartment with my husband, me and my daughter, and we were the only two in the house, and they reappeared. And we didn't touch them. We didn't do shit with them. So, is there an alternate universe out there of people that are gang stalking that are, I mean, you don't know, like, and that's the reason it's like, it's not for us to know to a degree. And all these people want to know because they want to prove. And that's what they want you to do. They want you to know, to care, to prove. So that way they can sit kind of on this high throne and laugh and giggle and be like, ha ha ha, yeah. Like you're feeding an ego monster that is going to end up going to hell any fucking ways. Why the fuck would you want to spend your time feeding that ego? Like, that's disgusting. Like, you'd be better off sitting around, like, doing basically anything to a degree than feeding into that shit. But any fucking ways, so, back to the weird shit that happened at my apartment with my kid. This was in the past 4 years. I've only been moved back in with my grandmother for 2 months. And if you want like more stories and backstories, you just have to go look at my other videos and kind of catch up on my life. But anyways, I just got my license because of this friend that I was working with that was a neighbor. And first they were a neighbor, then I started working the same place as them. And they helped me out and everything, or this nice person. I won't even say friend, because I don't even know what the fuck to think of friends and shit like that. But yeah, like, so stuff went missing. I called the cops out. The cops told me to write down a list of everything that went missing and that they come out and get the papers and take into account I'm not driving, I don't have a vehicle, I have no way to get up there. I tried to tell my parents, my mom, to take me. She don't want to take me. That's even like my busted ankle. She didn't want to take me for that. Just, this ping pong shit game of shit. And so, anyways, I'm like, I gotta drop this paper off. And she's like, no, no. And so I have to call the cops out to come pick up the paper. And I call the cops out. It's a different cop that comes out. He refuses to take the paper, says that he can't, and that the other guy had opened an investigation. This is like the second or third time that I've heard in my 30 years of living, but only dealing legally with shit, kinda to a degree, of like investigation. I'm like, what the fucking hell, investigation? Why does that even come up in your fucking vocabulary in dealing with me? Like, I am a regular, basic bitch, if you will, but I'm a regular citizen. Like, investigation. So there's another gang stalking thing that just kind of makes you scratch your head and be like, But, so anyways, I had shit going missing. I wrote the paper. I still have the paper to this day where I wrote down everything that went missing. And this crazy neighbor and shit. And this crazy neighbor actually got kicked out by the landlord because she called the landlord a bitch. So, and I thought that was funny because, this person had been a problem for me the whole time since they'd first moved in. And they weren't a problem for the landlord until they used a cuss word, and, called him a bitch, and that was the end of it or whatever. And that's another thing, too, is me and my landlord had a falling out because I just had enough of her shit. Because, like I said, I believed it was her that was taking my stuff or somebody dealing with her or something going on. Something just fishy. Something didn't smell right is the best way to word it, And, so, all that shit going on. Never got to take that paper to the police station. As a matter of fact, one night in particular, my friend that taught me to drive, and she's my neighbor at the time, this was before I moved down here where I'm living now with my grandmother. But anyway, she's like, hey, there's this guy, will you drive him home, because I'm going to go to bed, and I'm tired, and she's like, and he needs a ride home, you can take my car. And I'm like, okay, so I took her car. And even when I took her car and I got lost on the way back and everything, whenever I pulled up and I dropped her car back off at her house and I walked back home, then I realized I forgot my phone charger, so I went back to get my phone charger. When I came back, there was a cop sitting out across from my apartment on the other side of the street. Well, there's nothing there, like, across from me except for the street and grass. But there's a turning lane, so it's like, the road, and then a turning lane, and then the grass. And that cop is sitting there in the goddamn turning lane looking at me, and I'm just like, okay, what the fuck, dude? Yeah, I drove a vehicle. Yeah, I was lost. Yeah, I had to turn around 2 damn times, before I figured out where the fuck I was at. But, like, that was 35 minutes ago. I stopped and went to the bathroom, and then, I did this and I did that. And I literally, it made me feel like, yeah, I was being spied on. Because this is my first time independently, I guess you could say, like, driving, other than what driving I did straight from here to there and there to here moving. And it was late at night, and I had a cop that didn't follow me that I knew of. Or if he did, he was way behind me. But he pulled up and he was sitting there. And he just sat there and he just fucking like stared and shit. And I was just like, what the fuck? And I come within a hair because I was like, well, I ain't going in because hell, my dogs will start barking. It was like 2 a.m. in the fucking morning or some shit. And so I sat on my damn porch and just kind of looking at him like, well, are you going to come approach me and talk to me, or are you just going to sit there? And he just sat there for like 10 goddamn minutes before he fucking drove off. And at first I tried to dismiss it and be like, oh, well, maybe he was just checking on his radio or something like this, or, whatever. But I thought to myself, why the fuck is he doing it there? You know, why the fuck is he doing it there when he could pull into the parking lot of this place? You know, that's just some creepy ass shit, you know? And so I was just like, whatever, I don't know. I'm out, you know, and I went into my apartment locked up. But even for as far as my kid being taken from me, dealing with that, and I gotta hurry and say this because I only got a few minutes left. My daughter is fixing to turn 13. My daughter has been glued to my hip her whole fucking life. My parents have constantly been threatening to take her from me anytime I try to show any individualism, any independence, any getting my license, any wanting a job, anything, even though they finally helped me get a job. They finally, you know, because I put my foot down. I actually went and stayed in a homeless shelter with my kid when my kid was 7, put my foot down, told them that I would only come back home if they helped me get a job. And then from there, I was living with my grandmother and I was wanting to get a car, but my dad told me if I got a car that he would have it towed off because I didn't have a license. So I had money, I had a job. What can I do with the money to better my life and my child's life? Oh, I can move out in my own place. So I was like, okay, well, that's what I'll do since I can't get a car. So that's what I did, was living there. And then my family has just been shit talking me behind my back to my kid and all kinds of stuff. And other people have been involved. Other people have been involved, even bullying down to the school not liking me because I'm an outspoken individual. My child's elementary school, the elementary school that I attended when I was a child, not liking me because my child was being bullied. I told my child to haul off and punch the shit out of the kid. And the school, you know, is like, you shouldn't say that. You know, you're a bad parent for saying that. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not. I'm telling my kid to stand up for them damn selves. And so then, leading into her going into middle school, it's like, you know, oh, she's a bad parent, you know. And so the school bit of that. Then these other people that are friends, you know, with my kid, you know, these other kids that are friends, you know, and even these fucking kids, you know, because their lives are just different than my daughter's, you know, and everybody's life is different than everybody's. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit who you say. Yeah, you can have likenesses, like I said, you know, earlier about, you know, being blackmailed and like, yeah, you killed somebody for this reason, they killed somebody for that reason. But there is so many differences out there that the mind cannot even process it all. So therefore, we are taught to live in a box, and this is the box, you know, and you can't be outside the box. Well, me and my kid are outside the box, you know, because we don't live in the box. We know we don't give a shit. My daughter used to laugh and giggle and brag about being country and running around barefoot and about all the little princesses that couldn't stand mud between their toes, you know. And just stuff like that. Now, there's some people out there that have that same thing, you know, yeah, I'm barefoot and run around and, you know, no shoes. But for as far as individually, you're all going to be different. And even me and my child, we're not two completely cookie cutter version copies of each other. She's her own individual person, as am I. But anyways, so, back to her and her little friends that get on the phone and they're little kids so they can't process things. And they're like, you know, my mama don't talk to me that way. And I'm like, no, but your mama probably busts your ass or takes your stuff from you, you know, as a punishment. I said, my kid might get a spanking every few months. I said, but other than that, she don't get any other type of punishment. I said, because I don't see fit to punish her. And they're like, well, yeah, I got grounded 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I got grounded for this. Yeah, I got grounded for that. Yeah, I stay grounded all the time. Whenever I get in trouble, whenever I disrespect my mama, you know, I'm talking to these other kids and they're like, yeah. And now, I did ground my kid a few times from her phone, and I did ground her a few times from playing with people. But, like, these kids are, like, telling me basically that their whole lives they've been grounded, you know, and they're like, I got grounded for this, that, you know, and I'm just like, uh-huh. And I'm like, that's the way your mama raises you. I'm her mother. I raise her the way I raise her. Back off. But they wouldn't. So then not only would the children that are friends with her, they didn't agree. But the individuals that just knew me didn't agree. with the way that I do things. Even this bitch ass neighbor was like, I see your kid. You have a good kid. That's the thing too, is they all love to get on that. You have a good kid. You have a good kid. You have a great kid. You have a great kid. Your great kid helps clean, helps do this, help do that. So nice, so courteous, so this and that. And I'm like, yeah, but sometimes she annoys me because even though my kid is nice and courteous and all this and everything, does help with this, that, and the other, there's certain things that she don't because she's an individual. Like, my kid wouldn't help me bring in the damn groceries no matter what. Like, literally, I would almost have to scream or beg or plead, for her to help bring in groceries. Um, Except for now, when it got to her dog food, her dogs, I'd be like, you need to carry that in because that's for your pets. You wanted the pets, you carry the dog food in. And sometimes I do that to her. But as a matter of fact, like, she's just always been my kid. Like, you can't touch that. And even though everybody's trying to wreck it, because that's what people do, that's the whole gist of even gang stalking, is to control by wrecking, by tearing apart an individual, by tearing apart any type, because they see us as a threat. And even, if you're a targeted individual, you are seen as a threat to them. Why, I don't know, other than they're just that stupid. Um, but even me and my kid, because me and my kid agree on so much. Oh my God, do we? Even though we don't right now, but still, at the gist of it, we agree on so much. And right now, my parents have got her, and they're going to try to make her think exactly like them. But it's done too late. She done thinks not exactly like me, because I've opened the door to her mind, as mine has been opened since I was a child by my grandfather that passed away when I was 7, that everything's kind of limitless. So your thought process, limitless. You can change from this to that. You can be flexible. You can make all these different decisions. And this, I mean, it's not this concrete fucking box that you got to stay in. So my kid's done there. She done knows this. So them trying to put her in a concrete box ain't gonna work. And so I just kind of see the shit that they're doing by taking her from me as being kind of stupid. But it's whatever. But anyways, so basically these people are like, oh, you got a great kid, you got a great kid, you got a great kid, and they're all bragging on my kid, and they all want my kid, basically, and stuff like that. That's one thing that and that's another thing too. I fell in love with a girl that showed up in my life when my kid was, I mean, she didn't show, like, literally, I got my new job, and then I started working shifts with this girl, and then my kid got taken from me, and I just started working the shifts with this girl, kinda, getting to know her. Anyways, I fell in love with her. That's one thing she joked with me or whatever. I was like, swear to God, everybody brags on my kid all the time. I wrote her that, and I was like, they always tell me they want my kid. And she wrote me back, she's like, I don't want your damn kid. She's like, not me, because she don't like kids. Like, and that's the thing too, is like, supposedly if I was a good parent, I wouldn't fall in love with somebody that don't want kids, but I know her enough, I can read her enough that it's not that she hates kids. She does for the most part because she's so miserable because she's in this box and she hates life. And so she hates everything about life. And it's a lot easier for people to hate than it is to love. And that's the reason targeted individuals, if that is a thing, if gang stalking actually does happen, that's the reason we're seen as a threat, is because we are coming from a place, most of us, of love and acceptance. And things are what they are, and not this bitter, angry, that a gang stalker would be coming from, of, oh, I gotta get you. Oh, you made me feel bad. Oh, I gotta attack you. Type shit. And instead, I'm not laughing. I'm kind of sitting here with pity in my eyes for them of, God, you're stupid. Like, I feel so sorry for you. But anyways, I don't know. I might raise a bunch of controversy talking about this. I don't know. We'll see. But, so anyways, back to my kid and everything. My kid has been living, away from me for a year and a half. Yeah. whew, or almost a year and a half. And I tried to get her back, and the fucking attorney was shit. And the fucking attorney, and that's even the thing too, if gang stalking does exist. This attorney took my mom and was her attorney whenever she was supposed to be getting separated from my dad, and they were going to be getting divorced. They didn't get divorced. They stayed together. They worked it out, so she didn't have him as her attorney no more. So they didn't go to court for it no more. And he took on my child case, or my child custody case with my daughter. He's not supposed to do that, but he did it. Why he did it, I don't know. And that's another thing, too. The first one that I got assigned to, I had to be taken or he couldn't be on the case because he'd done legal work for somebody in my family. And he knew that, so he let me go. And he's like, here's a new attorney, call them. Well, I didn't realize for sure that this other attorney that was becoming mine was the same attorney. Like, I'm like, he looks familiar, he seems familiar, but he's kind of young. I was like, so, yeah. But then I sat in his office one day. It was like the third time I've been to his office to talk to him about getting my kid back. And that's the thing, too, is he's talking to me like I'm crazy. And that's what gang stalking supposedly is and all this kinds of shit and everything. Because one day when we go to court, when we're up at the courthouse and we're sitting there, I'm like, yeah, they won't even let me talk to my daughter about her pets. I'm like, I can't even tell her about Stevie. And he says, who's Stevie? And I was like, what I'd said is I said, they won't even let me tell her about Stevie jumping up in the air because Clarabelle chased him. Stevie is my cat, Clarabelle's my dog. It was hilarious. Like, she chased after him and, like, he jumped up in the air like 3.5 foot and then he ran off because she scared the shit out of him. And, like, they play together. They're not aggressive towards each other. And I was like, they wouldn't even let me tell my daughter about that at visitation when I went to visitation. My attorney's like, who's Stevie? Like I'm some type of moron or paranoid schizophrenic that's like, Stevie, and all that. And it's like, no. But, I was like, my cat? Like, do you really want to go down this battle of fighting? Because I have plenty of evidence that my cat is my cat. And that his name is Stevie. Like, damn. How desperate are you to try to be on the side of, yeah, you're crazy. So anyways, my attorney couldn't even remember my daughter's name. I remember even, and that's another thing that pinged in my head, was my mom was like, he can't even remember our last name. And then whenever I went to him, he can't even remember my daughter's name. And like I said, I was there that third time sitting in his office and I was like, holy shit, this is him. And I was like, damn, and I was like, oh my God, I should get a new attorney. And then I was like, but I can't right now. And I can't get up there to get it. And I was just like, fuck, Well, anyways, that's another thing too. My counselor that I went to or whatever. I had to go to counseling. I had to have a psychiatric evaluation done. It come back that I'm depressed. This counselor that was my counselor, she isn't even legally certified. I mean, she is, but I don't know. I didn't understand what she was saying. Anyways, all I know is she can do what she was doing legally, and I was good, and she'd done been on other people's cases and shit like that, dealing with child custody, but she couldn't be on mine. Or not that she couldn't be on mine, shit, that she could be on mine, but that she wasn't, she still had some classes or something to take. Anyway, she didn't want to come to court to testify on my behalf because she didn't feel like it. I mean, for crying out fucking loud, have you ever heard of such crazy shit in all your fucking life? And so anyways, basically, we went to court the last time, and that's the thing, too, is how many times I've been called to court on holidays, like, Valentine's Day, and had legal stuff going on Valentine's Day or Easter or around Easter, and then I even got married on Easter or around Easter. I don't know if it was, like, the day before or the day of. I can't even remember what year, like, what day that was that year. But I gotta end this video here because if not, I'm gonna lose it. But anyways, so basically, if gang stalking does exist and targeted individuals do exist, then basically I am a targeted individual. Basically, I am being gang stalked, and there's lots of fucking proof out there for it. God, is there, if that is a thing that actually does exist, but I kind of believe that it doesn't. I kind of believe it's just life sucks and people suck. And then even if it does exist, well, still the same result. Life sucks. People suck. And people suck because they allow their ego and greed to just be the thing that they want to fucking live for. And all I can say is, you want to live for that, go for it, but don't come crying to me when you don't like the end results, Don't come crying to people like me. Don't come crying to targeted individuals that you treated like shit, wanting sympathy and pity, and a helping hand at the last minute, because you ain't gonna get it. But I'm gonna end it here. I hope everybody's doing good. So that's my bit on what I think, kind of like dealing with gang stalking and stuff like that, and if it's legit and everything. Is I'm just kind of like, if it is, it sucks. Oh well, But I'm going to end it here. I hope everybody's doing good. Keep putting your best foot forward. And like I said, if you are a first-time viewer and you want to catch up, you can subscribe to my channel. You can look back. I got plenty of videos because I've been doing one every day since October. And I'm going to keep on for a year. So until the end of September. But I'll catch you later. And, write comments if you want to. Drop them down below. You like the video, put that thumbs up, That's pretty much it. I'll catch you later. Bye.